Are you home buyers or home sellers in Grimesland, North Carolina? This is video for you.
We love doing these monthly videos, giving you the update and giving you the score of what's going on in our housing market in our local area, rather than you watching the national news and not understanding what is happening in our local area. Because while it's amazing that interest rates are now falling and buyers can now buy homes again, that's great. We have to look at what's going on in the actual market and see nitty-gritty details of how many houses are actually available in my hometown, what are the pricing, can we afford these homes? So that is kind of, and home sellers, are you ready to move on? Do you live in Grimesland? That's why we do all this.
Exactly. And we're going to focus really at the beginning about the supply and demand, and we're going to start talking about the inventory. And part of the inventory is really active homes that come to the market active right now, and the pending homes which they are in the contract and they're going to close in 30 days.
Now, to be honest, when I saw these numbers, I said, what happened in Grimesland? And of course, I immediately realized must be a lot of new construction in the area. So that was my takeaway from looking at these numbers that I'm about to share with you. Active homes, which are homes listed for sale. There were 18 active homes in December, which just happened.
And in November last year was 21, and last year this time was 16. Therefore, we have 12.5% increase from last year to this year, but decrease from last month.
Now, however, when we look at pending, which are those under contract, waiting 30 days in order to close on the home, there were 5 pending in December. So that's actually lower. 4, which is more than the month before, which was 4, but compared to last year where there was 9. So there's almost a 44.4% difference in pending homes.
Exactly. And now if you're looking at the sold homes, we had just 2 sold homes in month of December, and month of November we had 5 sold, and last year this time we had 6 sold, which brings us to more than 66% of decrease of the number of sold homes.
Now, when we see these numbers, okay, we there's a math formula we can talk about. Active plus pending divided by sold. This is going to give us an inventory rate. So when people ask us, is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? This is where we get that information from. If it's less than 6 months, it's a buyer's market. If it's more than in seller's market, if it's more than 6 months, it's a buyer's market. So when we look at December's numbers, it's very clearly a buyer's market.
Based on the inventory rate, we have 11.5 months, and the reason was the sold home and under the contract, they were lower than the previous months. And if you're looking at November, we were looking at 5 months of the inventory. And last year at this time, we were 4.17 months, which definitely we jumped a lot from last month to this month.
Now, before we get into more like the average days on market and what's actually going on, like is it new, is it what's going on, I think we need to do our introduction.
Exactly. So let's hit it.
Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below.
Exactly. Now, when we talk about the inventory rate, we wanted to focus on how fast is the market, and one of the actually factors is average days on the market.
Right. So there were 34 active days on the market for all homes in December, which is actually faster. So it's sped up from the month before, which was 73. That's a lot different. But compared to last year, there was only 10. So you can see the days on market increased 240% since last year, from 10 to 34 days.
Exactly. Now, we wanted to shift our focus to list price and sold price, and we wanted to talk about the median. My wife is gonna a little bit explain what we are talking about.
I just want to say that this is not the same house. So if you're looking at the median list price and the median sale price, it's not going to be that somebody got this amazing deal for like 123 Main Street. 123 Main Street is not the, and that's just a made up address, but that address is not going to be what the median number is for both numbers. It's generally not the same house. It can be, but it's when we look at the middle number, that is not, it's typically not the same house, and it's not.
And if you're looking at the month of December that just we finished 10 days ago, we had the median lease price of $426,750, and the months before in November we had $428,900, and last year at this time we were $413,400, which brings us to 3.23% of the increase in the median list price.
Now, when we look at the median sale price, this is very different. Median sale price, again, not the same house, was $383,488. When you look at the month before that, it was $312,000, and the year before that was $181,000. So median sale prices shot up 111%.
Exactly. And again, don't get surprised because again, this is because of the brand new homes construction. And we're gonna address that later in this video. Now, what we're gonna do here
price
now?
Per square foot. We're gonna understand price per square foot. What does it mean? This is basically your first number. We're gonna say if a real estate agent says your house is 1,000 square feet, which is a very small house, we're gonna say 1,000 times a specific number is going to give us our base number. So if you know what how much your square footage of your house is, you times it times this number, you're gonna get a quick number of what your house might be worth. There's gonna be additions because you add additions. There's going to be subtractions because you didn't do something, but this is generally speaking what we're talking about here.
Exactly. And since we don't have any condo or townhouse that is building or existed at this film of this video, really all new construction, which is really single family homes, is listed for $173 per square feet.
Now, previously owned homes are going at $163 a square foot, but this is actually pretty high in our area compared to other areas. So understand the Grimesland, just from these numbers, is something people like.
Exactly. Now, the reason that we said what is the difference there, what the numbers are different from last year into this year, it comes really from inventory and monthly supply that we were talking about. And what is the inventory?
So when we look at December, what just happened, new construction took up the majority of all of that. When we were talking about inventory, this is all of the inventory really, is 3.6 months of supply of inventory is new construction, whereas only 0.3 was previously owned. What about the month before that?
A month before, we didn't have significant change. Instead of 3.6, we had 3.5. And again, pre-owned home, just 0.3 month of supply. Therefore, you see that Grimesland is really ruled by the new construction, all the inventory.
Now, let's talk about mean home value, because this is for, if you're a home seller, this is what you care about the most. What happened to my home? My home, how much more did my home get worth?
Exactly. Therefore, we want to talk about the rate of appreciation here in Grimesland. In December 2023 that we just finished 10 days ago, we had the mean home value for Grimesland $281,449.
The month before that was $277,963.
And last year at this time was $266,561, which brings us to how much year-over-year appreciation?
It looks like we had a year-over-year appreciation of 6.3%, which is actually high in the Pitt County area. So that's great. Now, Grimesland for the rental market.
The rental market is very hot in Grimesland, meaning that for all bedroom, the median is $1,500 per month.
Which is a lot. You could honestly be getting a nice small condo or townhome in Greenville for that price. So if you're paying $1,500 a month, this is something that we really need to think about. Now, for home buyers, if you're looking to buy a home in Grimesland, there's a lot of supply, but all of it is in new construction. So you have to understand, if you are down with new, Grimesland's a great area because that's where all the inventory is. If you do not want a new home, it's going to be a little bit more of an issue. If you really want to be there, we have to be pre-approved. We have to be ready to go. And when the house does show up, and there was a really nice one that just showed up yesterday, if you want that home, we're going to have to be ready to go with it because you need to be ready. So you have to be pre-approved, and we're ready to show it to you whenever you want. What about for home sellers?
For home sellers, as we said, we had appreciation of 6.3% from last year to this year. But as we said, in the market, we went from November 5 months of inventory to 11.5 months of inventory. However, if you're looking at the inventory supply, mostly is new construction, 3.6 months of the new construction. And new construction really in Grimesland starts from $380,000 and up. Goes to $400,000, $430,000, $40,000. Therefore, if you are have a pre-owned home, still you can get a good money for your house because we had just 0.3 months of supply for pre-owned home. However, we need to do our due diligence, means we need to finish all the unfinished project, painting if it needs to be done, everything, declutter the place, stage the house correctly, for that beautiful pictures. And also, beside of those online beautiful presentation, we need to use us as a real estate agent to bring you with the comps, which is right price for your property if you want to get the top dollar.
So we're happy. We're super excited. Please call us at 252-327-3357. I can't wait to talk to you.
And see you in the next podcast and video.